For me, that's one of the things that I think that Finidi George should not remain as national team manager.
Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be watching or listening to us from. This is the Naija FC Podcast. As always, I'm your host, IoT, and I have with me my reliable co host.
With Layi, thanks for joining.
Thank you very much for joining us, guys. Thank you for joining. As always, we have an exciting episode coming up for you. We have a lot of things to discuss. There's too much to talk about, but we'll try to bring you some of the main highlights and the main points from the past week of football with regards to Nigerian players. Um, we've been away for the international break. Most of you would have seen the Super Eagles play two fixtures, one against Ghana and one against Mali. We defeated the Black Stars of Ghana, which everyone was excited about. But unfortunately, we lost 2-0 in the second game against Mali. Smidlai, without taking too much time, what was your assessment on the international break? What was your assessment?
Well, it's not actually what it's mixed feelings actually because you know we beat our rival one
Mm,
2-1, and I was really happy about that. But I have to be honest with you, overall play not really impressed.
mm,
Especially the loss to Mali, we did not really show desire to actually want to win that game, and the players individual mistakes. So I it just mixed feelings. Game against Ghana was good, but against Mali was nothing to write home about.
mm. And I mean,
Yes.
very well said. It was a mixed bag. Happy to beat Ghana. Very unfortunate to lose against Mali. A lot of Nigerian fans have taken to social media to react. I'm sure a lot of people in the media as well have been reacting badly to the results. People have been criticizing Finidi. They've been criticizing certain players. And I want us to start today's conversation by talking about those points very quickly. In terms of players that have been getting criticized, we have Cyriel Dessers. Cyriel Dessers, of course, scored a penalty in the game against Ghana. And then he came off the bench early in the match against Mali. And he wasn't able to get firing. He had a few opportunities, a few half chances. And he missed them. He wasted some. Fans felt like he should have scored. They felt like he was bad at finishing the other chances that he got. And then fast forward a few days later, he returns to his club Rangers, and then he scores a goal for them in the league. And I saw some comments of people saying, "I beg Joe, this guy is good for his club, but he's not good for his country." And Smidlai, that's where I want to ask you. You know, what did you think about Cyril Dessers in the international break? And do you think like this thing about some players being good for club but not being good for country? Is that a real thing? What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, it's actually what a real thing because if your country play differently to how your club plays,
Mm,
is you might not thrive with your what's it called playing for your country. But for me, I don't think that is the situation for Dessers. I just think that
mm,
he's a guy that his teams is under pressure to perform.
mm.
Because the big boys were not really called up for this. Were not available for the Ghana and the Mali game. He wanted to impress. That's why he took that penalty. He wanted to score. He wanted to be the man, so that it
Mm,
can be considered when it's time for the World Cup qualifiers. But unfortunately, I think he failed the audition. So it
mm,
doesn't mean that Dessers is a bad player. It's just that he might thrive in a different type of formation. I think Dessers always thrive when there's someone very close to him. When there is playing close to someone. So I think that because I think that because he's that way, I just think, in my opinion, I think he's not a bad player. I just think that he just I won't call him a club player. I just think that he just had a bad game against Mali. That's my
mm.
opinion.
And
Yes.
I mean, I will say for me, I said this on Instagram Live after the first game. For me, I was not surprised by what I saw from Cyril Dessers. I watched a lot of Cyril Dessers when he plays for Rangers, and with all due respect to him, he's a very inconsistent player.
Mm-hmm.
He has one good game, he goes 3 or 4 matches that are not so good. Has another good game, he might score a brace, then he'll go another couple games that are not so good. Sometimes he
Mhm.
might get maybe goals in back-to-back games. Then he goes on 4 or 5 matches that he doesn't really perform well. That's kind of the way Dessa has been going. He's a good striker, but he's not a very good. He's not a great striker. And I think that a lot of Nigerian fans, with all due respect to the fans, they don't watch these players as closely. They don't watch them that much at club level. And then when they watch them in the national team, they have very, very high expectations for them because, of course, it's the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And if you are playing there, you have to be at your highest level. But for me, I think he had a bad game, like you said. But I also don't think that it is enough for people to say that, oh, he can never be good for the Super Eagles. For one, the sample size of games that he has played for Nigeria, in my opinion, is a very small sample size. And
Mhm.
even if we consider that small sample size, you might say, oh, penalty goal, lucky goal. But overall, his record is not terrible for the Super Eagles so far. Again, I understand that it's a small sample size. He has played 6 games for Nigeria. He has scored 2 goals. So
Mhm.
overall, it's not that bad.
Mhm.
But I'm not going to use 6 games to judge him and say, oh, he cannot be good for Nigeria. The
Mhm.
unfortunate thing for him is that he's way down on the pecking order. When you think of players like Osime, Awoni, Boniface, Ehanacho, even other Murphy and the likes. But I just think that when he does get his chance, he needs to do more. He needs to take his opportunity more. There is pressure, but he also needs to not allow the pressure to get to him because if he overdoes it and he doesn't perform well, Nigerian fans are the only fans in the world that can remove somebody from the national team. We saw how they did to Okoye. We saw how they've done to certain players. So if Nigerian fans turn on you too much, it's not going to be an easy ride for you. So I wish him all the best. Happy that he scored for his club. And hopefully the next time he's called up, he's able to do better with the opportunities that he gets. But again, I'll just end it by saying, if fans start to love you to a certain extent, you can do no wrong. Because Osimhen missed a lot of chances at the AFCON. Nobody is insulting Osimhen.
Mhm.
Dessers has missed chance in friendly now. All of a sudden, he's a terrible striker. So he needs to earn the love of the fans, and then he would have a lot more room to make mistakes. Um, okay, let's move on to another player that was subject to a lot of conversation and talk after this international break. I'm talking about Nathan Tella. Nathan Tella was called up by the NFF slash coach Finidi George for these 2 friendlies, but he didn't see a single minute of action. And then that was compounded by the fact that he returns to his club, he comes off the bench, and then he assists the winner for Bayer Leverkusen in their fantastic comeback victory. And then a lot of Nigerian fans sprung out in the comments again saying, useless coach, you did not play this guy and see what he's doing for his club. Oh, he always turns up. Why didn't the coach play him? We were on live together. Somebody was even saying that Finidi George does not like foreign born players, that he has a thing against them. So what do you think about this whole Nathan Tella situation? Do you think Finidi George snubbed him? Or what do you think could have been the reason why he didn't see a single minute in the friendlies?
For me, that's one of the things that I think that the judge should not remain as national team manager. If you call a player someone that narrowly missed the AFCON, at
Yeah.
least, and he's doing well for his club, go and look at his stats in for his club. Anytime there was a game, he scored 2 goals. From a right wing, you saw what he did when he actually played against. We saw what he did when he played against Bayern Munich. So, in my opinion, I think that he deserved to at least have a go
Mm,
in one of the friendly games, because if you are not playing him in a friendly game, are you going to now throw him in the deep end during the World Cup qualifiers against South Africa? That is a
mm,
make or break. So I think he bottled this one, because if someone is about to win the league, I think they have even won the league in Bayer Leverkusen, and you still think that you don't care about what he wants to bring. So, in
mm,
my opinion, I think that he deserves more. And to Tella himself, you know, since I'm going to quote his coach now from Southampton, his former coach Ralph Asinoto. He said it that this boy can play. say this boy can play. Just watch out for him. And
Mm,
I think that there's still a lot of things that Tella has to offer in his locker. But
mm,
it's a guy that plays strictly to instruction, and he's very intelligent. So I don't know why they just snubbed him, But in my own opinion, I think that he deserves to actually to have played any of those two games, even if it's second half. At least just play, just touch the ball. So he can't bomb flight ticket money come from okay.
mm.
I just I will just mute on this side because I am disappointed.
Mm. No, and I understand you, and I will say, to the fans that were upset, I understand you guys as well. I definitely wanted to see Nathan Tella get a chance. Um, I don't know. I cannot tell you definitively why the coach did not play him in any of those two matches. But the only reasoning that I kind of have in my head that could potentially be a factor, to me, was the fact that I think Finidi George was using these two games. He knew that it was an audition for him if he was going to get the Super Eagles job on a permanent basis. And maybe he wanted to go with players that he trusted or players that he knew, players that he felt were tried and tested. And Nathan Tella, as good as he is or as good as we believe that he is, he hasn't had many matches for the Super Eagles. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's only played one match for the
Mm-hmm.
Super Eagles up until now, and that was under Jose Pesero, even though Pesero had called him like maybe two or three times. So maybe Finidi George just felt like,
Mm-hmm.
for my audition, I'm not really going to go with this guy that I don't know ahead of the other options that I have. Maybe he felt like, oh, I need to play Iwobi in a wing position because Iwobi is doing so well for his club. I don't know the reasoning. Maybe he felt like he needs to play Kelechi Iheanacho because Iheanacho is a tried and trusted guy in the Super Eagles, But ultimately, from our own perspective as Nigerian fans, we wanted to see other players get into the rotation and see what they can offer, especially in the absence of our big hitters, the Osimens. Chukwueze wasn't even in the team. You would have thought that that would be more reason why Nathan Tella will potentially get a chance. But at the end of the day, he didn't play. I'm not going to go as far as saying that, oh, the coach doesn't like foreign-born players. I think that's a bit of an overreaction. But still, hopefully the next time that there's a national team call up in June, Taylor can potentially get a chance. You were speaking on his statistics, and I think his statistics actually speak very highly of him. In the Bundesliga this season, in only three starts, he has only started three matches in the Bundesliga. He has 5 goals and 2 assists.
Mm-hmm.
He's averaging 26 minutes per game this season, and I think the fantastic part of it is that he has a goal every 94 minutes of action. So
Mm-hmm.
that is on average about a goal a game in a
Mm-hmm.
full 90 minutes, about one goal. Obviously, if he was starting every week, it's not going to just progress in that the exact same way. But it
Mm-hmm.
speaks, to the level that he's playing at. And he's somebody that obviously, when he's called upon, he turns up. For you
Mm-hmm.
to have 7 goal contributions in only three starts is not easy, because coming off the bench is never easy. A lot of players need some time to get into the rhythm
Mm-hmm.
of the game. So Nathan Tella, I know his opportunity will still come, and hopefully he's able to take it properly when he does get that opportunity. Okay, and to round off on things that involve the national team, let's talk about Moses Simon. This one is rather unfortunate, negative news. But Moses Simon suffered an injury. I can't even call it a knock. He suffered a serious injury in the game against Mali. It looked, in during the game in real time, it looked like a collision. It looked relatively serious because of how he stayed on the ground and had to be stretchered off. But God knows that I wouldn't have been able to predict how serious it ended up being. He returned to his club, FC Nantes, and they confirmed that he suffered a fracture. And of course, he's going to be out for the rest of the season. Very unfortunate news. I'm also going to imagine that he's going to miss the June matches, the World Cup qualifiers, because fracture is essentially, I'm not the medical personnel, but as far as I understand, fracture means say you break leg. You know, that's what me I
Mm-hmm.
understand. So if indeed his leg is broken, I don't see how he's going to come back before June.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be out for a while. a broken fibula, and it's just unfortunate. We wish him all the best. Hopefully he can come back strong. He can come back better. I don't know if I don't know if Moses Simon was thinking of leaving before, but if he was thinking, this injury now can add a little bit of sand to his Gary. But yes, Midlai, thoughts on Moses Simon's injury?
For me, it's a very sad situation. It's a very sad, one of the enemies of footballers is, to get injured. And nobody prays to actually to get injured. It could be in the game, it could be during training, it could be warm up. I remember Elijah Adebayo, I've been part of this team, but he got injured in a warm up.
Yeah.
So, it could be anywhere. But, sometimes too, there's some things that you can do to avoid these things. I go from reliable source to that even before coming to camp, he was nursing something before coming to camp. And I think, I'm not really sure, maybe he gave the medical report to the doctors in camp. Because for me, if a player got knocked in his club and you want to finish him with, just 2 friendly games. So for me, I just think that it would have been managed properly. But unfortunately, he got injured. And as you said it earlier, it's not if, it's out of the World Cup qualifier, because I think his rehab will start off season. And
Mm,
you can't see somebody that's just doing rehab, we come and play June 5
mm,
when we play against South Africa in Uyo. So that is too close. In fact, even those like Zedus and Uzi, they are even out,
yeah.
of that game. Ekong is in race to be fit for that game. So, if you have any injury now that is slightly, you are out of it. So, and that's we have given Finidi an opportunity again to say, let me try Tella. Let
Mm,
me try these new boys so that we can see, maybe they can give us options. That's it's really unfortunate that he's what's it called? He got injured. And secondly, too, he just signed a new deal for his clubs for his club side too. Maybe he
mm,
plans to remain in France, for reasons best known to him. And also, what's it called? His club too is also fighting relegation. So the club too will need him more. I hope
yeah.
that when Simon returns, he won't be playing League Two, but I hope he's going to be. He will still go to be League One, and good for them. They beat Terem Moffi's OGC Nice this last weekend to
Yeah.
boost their survival hopes. So it's just unfortunate that Simon is not here. He's one of the most reliable and well experienced, you know, player in the Super Eagles. Don't forget that he missed the World Cup in 2018. And he also this one too. This last World Cup we didn't qualify, so this might likely be the last chance
Mm,
for him to go to the World Cup. And I'm pretty sure that he will want to be part of this qualifier, so I can Nigeria can actually qualify for the World Cup. Unfortunately for him, but I wish him the very best of luck.
yes, best
Quick
of luck
recovery.
to Moses Simon. Okay, and then moving from a player that is potentially out for a long time to a player that has just returned after being out for a very, very long time. I'm talking about Nnamdi Ofoborh. The midfielder made his return to action for Swindon Town um this past week. And I mean, a lot of people that maybe are not aware will be wondering that, oh, why are we happy about a player that is coming to play for Swindon? But the good news is that after about 3 years out with heart issues, he had a heart condition. He has finally made his return to action. He signed for the club. The day they announced him, he made his debut the same day, played a few minutes off the bench, and then they played another game on, I think, Sunday was the other game on Monday, and he played from the start. And in fact, he had a fantastic performance. Playing from the start. This is a young player that represented Nigeria at the youth level already. He had such a bright future ahead of him, and then he joined Rangers, and Rangers was supposed to be a place where he could really kickstart his career. The Rangers fans were excited to see him, and then unfortunately, during one of their regular scheduled fitness tests, and where they just check on all the players, they realized that he had a heart condition, and the doctors obviously recommended that he stop playing football. It's at the time it seemed like something that could be the end of his career, you know. So for him to come back now after 3 years is, I think, is very exciting. I'm happy for him. I'm excited for him. I hope that he can kickstart his career. Of course, he's had to go down to League Two to get an opportunity, but if he can show himself, if he can impress there is no reason why he cannot work his way back up the levels and, potentially get to a Scottish Prem again, or who knows, even Premier League. The sky is the limit. The good thing is that he's only 24 years old, so he's not like old, but of course he's no longer a youngster. But I'm just excited to see him back on the field. I wish him all the best. I hope that he can stay fit. I hope that the heart issues are now behind him. And, let's see how far he can go. What are your thoughts on Nnamdi Ofoborh's return to football?
For me, that's one of the biggest news this last weekend, and I'm really, really actually what happy for him. Don't forget that it's a player that committed to Nigeria at a very early age, and he came down to Abuja to be part of the under 20 preparation when we were going to Poland in 2019. So to tell you that he's actually what a part of us. Time flies. The boy is now 24 years of age now. And what's it called? When his career, don't forget, he even played in the Premier League. He made his debut for Bournemouth or so. And, unfortunately, this thing actually what happened. But, I wish him best of luck because, it was Steven Gerrard that signed him then to Rangers, if you could remember then,
Yeah.
that, he was meant to be, I think he was meant to be the one that's maybe playing ahead of Kamara. There was one Kamara that plays for Leeds now. He's meant to be in their midfield. And have been very successful because they have got Aribo, Ofoborh, Balogun, and Basi, in the same Rangers team there. That would have been very, very good. But unfortunately, this is actually what happened. But what I just want to say basically is that I hope that there is no compromise anywhere.
Mhm.
I hope that they put his head forward, as in forward first. I hope that it's not about fate. I hope that it's about life and it's about for him to be fine in the field of play. Everything have been checked very well, and that's my take. And I hope that I just wish him the very, very best of luck because to be out for close like since age of 21, it's not it's not easy. I wish him the very best of luck.
So yeah, best of luck to Nnamdi Ofoborh. Hopefully this is behind him and he can continue to progress from here. Okay, let's move on quickly to another player. A player that currently plies his trade in the Dutch Eredivisie. I'm talking about Chuba Akpom. Chuba Akpom is somebody that has still not got a Super Eagles call up. But, after a rocky start to the season for his club, AFC Ajax, they've now, picked up some results in recent times. They're on the up in their league. I think now they're up to about fifth place in their league. And Akpom is finding form. Over the weekend, he scored 2 goals for them, taking his tally for the season up to 12 goals. And people have started talking about him again. Nigerian fans have started talking about him again. I've had people in the comments, people sending me messages asking, why has this boy not been called up? Some people were even saying that, oh, they're calling a player like Dessers, but they're not calling this guy up. So, Smith, like, do you think that with the form that Akpom is finding currently at AFC Ajax, can he get a chance to finally play for the Super Eagles of Nigeria? What do you think?
For me, I just think that there's something wrong somewhere. That's why he's not really getting called up. For me, I think if you could call player that is not even playing, you score player that is not even scoring goals, you score player that is not, they are not performing, but you keep on calling them. So why can't you just give this boy a chance to play just once? Then we can judge him based on that. Just try him. What is now the essence of changing nationality? Do you know how difficult it is to change nationality in the UK? So, it just gave him opportunity. And if you look at his stats too, how many games did he start for Ayers? How many goals did he score for Ayers? So you will see clearly that he's doing well when he's called upon. When they call him, when they call him, he's actually what he's doing well. I think the manager is not just being fair to him. He needs to be starting every game. Because when they call him, when he gets a chance, it's always what? It's always doing well. So in my opinion, I think that he deserves to be in the national team. But now, it's going to be very hard to call him for the South African game. Because he wasn't part of the friendly game. We can't just throw a rocky. As man played senior international football before. So it's going to be very hard for you to just put a Rocky against South Africa. So that means that that opportunity is gone till the AFCON qualifiers in November.
Oh yeah. As I don't have too much to add to that really. I've spoken about him a lot in the past, especially when he was on fire in the English Championship. I really hope that his opportunity does come sometime. But like you rightly mentioned, it would be difficult for them to call him up for the June World Cup qualifiers because he has never been part of the team. He wasn't part of this friendly squad. So his opportunity might be later rather than sooner. But I do understand why people are talking about him. I do understand why people are fighting or clamoring for him to be part of the team. And if he keeps on performing well, hopefully he can stay in form. Eventually, maybe his opportunity will come. And just moving on quickly to round off on the men. Um, Another player who wasn't part of the current, or rather of the latest Super Eagles squad for the friendlies against Ghana and Mali. I'm talking about Terem Moffi. Terem Moffi just scored his 50th goal in the French Ligue 1, and he became the third highest scoring Nigerian in French League 1 history. Murphy is a player that I'm on the record saying that I think he is the best finisher that Nigeria has. A lot of people have argued this thing with me, but I know what I say when I say it. I know what I see when I watch the football matches. I think Terem Murphy is a very good striker, a fantastic finisher, and he's now third on this list that includes Moses Simon, includes Peter Odemwingie, and the two people ahead of him are John Utaka and Victor Ekpeba, who of course are two legends of Nigerian football. Just to put it into context, Murphy has played 126 matches in the French Ligue 1. He has 50 goals and he has 12 assists. A fantastic record, in my opinion. It's not prolific, it's not exceptional, but is to me those are the stats of a good striker. So I'm saying congratulations to Terem Moffi. I think he'll be probably part of the squad for the World qualifiers in June, and I hope that he can continue firing. I think it's only a matter of time before he rises to the top of that list of Nigerian League One goal scorers. Maybe this season if he can get 10 more goals, or maybe next season if he stays in OGC Nice through the summer, or if he stays in the Ligue 1 through the summer. But yes, Midlai, what are your thoughts on Murphy's 50 goal mark in Ligue 1?
Like you said earlier, I'm a very big fan of Terry Murphy myself because I think that in a right situation, Terry Murphy is dependable.
Mm.
And a lot of people don't even know that because imagine you have those numbers, you are still a fringe player in the national team. That will tell you the quality of players we have up front. But for me, I think that this type of game, the two games against Ghana, give Terry Murphy the opportunity to lead the line. But unfortunately, due to situations that is not in public, it wasn't called up. For me, very, very good player. I remember during Victor Ekpeba's playing days, they nicknamed him the Prince of Monaco
Mm.
because of the goals he has scored. And with those numbers, IoT, Victor Ekpeba won the African Player of the Year.
Hmm.
So imagine and Terry Murphy is about to actually even beat that record. So to tell you that these guys we have too, they are very, very talented. It's just because we have, some players doing better in different leagues. That is it. For me, Terry Murphy is a very, very good player. And I think that I just pray that the next coach that will come in, we believe in him. I hope that rumor says it that it might be Emmanuel Amuneke, but he's the man that dropped him at the under-17 World Cup too.
Mm.
So I just hope that he's lucky, this time around. That's my thought.
Mm. Okay. And yes, well done to Terem Murphy. More goals to your tally. By grace of God, I think that's definitely going to happen. Okay, let's move on very quickly to the female players that are worthy of note from this past week. I'll kind of just take the first in bunch, and then we'll talk about the star player for this past week. separately. So we saw Rashad Ajibade scoring a goal for Atletico de Madrid. It was a fine diving header in their 1-0 victory over Valencia. Atletico de Madrid, honestly, that team they tire me. Game where they're supposed to win, they know they win. The one that they managed to win is 1-0. I like Rashida too much, but man, playing for that team sometimes can be such a chore. They're not a team that they're like the old Atletico Madrid on the men's side. You know how normal before, Atletico, their game no they really get goals. That's the way
Mm-hmm.
the female team is right now. Their games don't really see that many goals. It's always 1-0, 1-1, at most maybe 2-1, and it's always so difficult because they don't create that many chances for their forwards, other than if you are trying to create an opportunity by yourself. Um, but she was able to get a goal. It was a good cross by her teammate, and then a nice, it was to me, it reminded me of that header that she scored in the WAFCON against Cameroon. Well placed header into the bottom corner, and she was able to get the win for her side. We also saw Tony Payne with a fantastic strike, a curler, right-footed curler for Sevilla in their. I believe the game ended 4-2, 4-2 victory over Real Sociedad. And
Mm-hmm.
then we saw Uche Nakano scoring the fastest brace in NWSL history for Racing Louisville. Unfortunately, after she scored the fastest brace, her team went on to concede two more goals and the game ended 2-2. So that one kind of dampened her nights because it didn't come in a win. But those were three Super Falcons players who were on target, at the right time just before the women's international break. So yes, Midlai, what are your thoughts on the performances of those three players?
No, I know. I'm happy that they are doing well now, and they're informed before this Africa, because I can tell you that the game against Africa is the game of the year.
Hmm.
It's like the biggest game this year so far for the team, and I'm
Oh,
happy that they actually won.
Smith, sorry to cut you off. One player that I'll be wrong to not also acknowledge here is Gift Monday. Gift Monday also scored one goal and provided an assist for her side, UD Tenerife, over this past weekend. I just wanted to mention her name
Yes.
so that she will not watch this and fight me. Gift Monday was
Yeah.
also impressive this weekend. Yeah, good.
Yeah. So I'm happy when I on the EaglesTracker I saw those. This is actually what I only watched Jennifer Echegini's highlights, but and Uche Kanu too. But I'm a big fan of Uche Kanu. I don't know why. Not the work why I said it. I just think that she's a typical Nigerian winger. A very arrogant winger that can go in and out and just turn you on her day. On her day. So I'm really, really happy that she's back and she's doing well. I'm happy for Ajibade too. Ajibade is consistent. For me, I think a move would be better. For her. I have to be honest with you. It's not bad with the level of talent she's got. I think she can play in the Premier League in England. Even for teams like Arsenal. I think she can do that. So I just think that a very good Olympics can actually can really help her. And kudos to also Gift Monday, product of the MPFL, of the NWFL. Fantastic, fantastic player. We all know what he can do, but he always come in camp and not play. So for the Falcons, we all know that. But I just hope that the coach too will look at that and think that, oh, come on, this guy can do something for the national team and he's a player. So I'm happy she's doing well for Tenerife. She's a team. I think her teammate is Richola Babagide.
Yeah.
Yes, they play in the same club too. So that one's called hat-trick of assist. The hat-trick of assist and one goal previously. And Youth Monday
Yeah.
too, she's doing her own. So, good times, good times. Bayana in trouble.
Okay, and to round off on this past week, we have to highlight the star of this past week. Fantastic performance, her first hat trick in professional football. I'm talking about Jennifer Onye Echegini, playing for Juventus women. She scored three very well taken goals. As they smashed Fiorentina in the Serie A Feminile. Um, Jennifer Echegini, this is a player that has so much quality, so much talent, so much potential. I've interviewed her in the past. You can watch it on our channel. Such a humble, laid back player. She went to the World Cup for Nigeria while still being a university student. I remember she was saying she was literally working her shift as a waitress in a restaurant when she saw the list that she was called up for the World Cup. And now she's banging in hat tricks. in Italy is the stuff of dreams. I think she's one of those players that she can go as far as she walks towards,
Mm-hmm.
because she has everything that it takes. She can play from the flank, she can play through the middle, she has a good eye for goal, and she's the future. I think she's the future. She's one that we have to pay attention to. And I know that she's going to continue putting in quality performances like this for her side. And I'm so excited to continue to watch her. All our players hitting form at the right time just before they face Banyana. Of course, we'll talk about that game in detail in the next episode. But I have to say congratulations to Jennifer Echegini. Absolutely, your thoughts on that hat trick?
No, I watched that. I looked for it, and I actually was, because I'm a big fan of Jennifer Echegini, and I remember the first time I watched her play was when she played against New Zealand in the
Mm.
pre-World Cup, play warm-up game. We won the game 3-0. I think she scored in that game too. So very good player. What I like about her is that the way she carries the ball.
Mm.
She's someone that reminds me of Alexander Leb of Arsenal.
Mm.
I don't know if you know Alexander Leb of Arsenal. That
Yeah.
later went to Barca. She takes football easy. She just be driving with that ball as if they are not there. The way she dribbled the Cameroonian lady that day, as if she's not there. I was just wondering that. I like when football is fun. And she takes it
Mm.
that way too. So, and don't forget that a lot of people don't know that when she came on against England in the last World Cup, she nearly created the winning goal for Nigeria. That pass to
Yeah.
Anozie as if
The one
flopped.
that I was here
So
missed. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I think she's the future for Nigeria. I just hope that they can be, you know, I just hope that you can show manage her very well. I think she's gonna be the one for the future, and she's very
Mm.
young.
No, yeah, yeah. She's definitely the future. And I'll
Mm-hmm,
say this. I when she does leave Juve, I don't know how many years. I can't remember how many years she signed on her contract. But she's somebody that if any team wants to sign her from Juve, she's going to command a decent transfer fee. We
mm-hmm,
we know that the transfer fees in women's football haven't been that high until the
mm-hmm,
recent transfers to the NWSL this past window. But I think if
mm-hmm,
somebody wants to buy her from Juve, she's going to command a healthy transfer fee because she's still young, and
mm-hmm,
she's performing so well. I
mm-hmm,
don't think that the Italian league is one of the stronger leagues in women's football. I must say that. So I have to kind of put it into
mm-hmm,
context. But I think that with the kind of talent she has all it takes to play at the highest levels in Spain, in England, wherever she wants to play.
mm-hmm,
Really, I think she has all the quality.
mm-hmm,
And I'm wishing her all the
mm-hmm.
best. Excited to watch her against South Africa in these upcoming Olympic qualifiers. So there we have
Yeah.
it. Just before we round off, let me just quickly shout out a number of other players that had decent performances this weekend that we can't really go into in detail. Bamidele Yusuf was on target, scored one goal, one assist
Mm-hmm.
for his side. Hey, Super Falcons player that I forgot to mention, Francisca Odega scored 2 goals for her side, CSK Moscow. Sorry about omitting you, Francisca. We also had Godwin Aguda scoring a goal. We had Chinonso for scoring a debut goal after moving on loan to Ada in Bulgaria. We had Viv Solomon Otabo getting his first assist since his move to China. We had Philip Azango, a goal man of the match for Spartak Tinava. Joe Aribo got an assist for Southampton in their defeat against Ipswich. Um, Samson Tijani also put in a very good performance for Wolfsberger this past week. Tom Daley Bashiru for Watford had a very good performance. Wilfred Ndidi had a good performance for Leicester City. Rafael Onyedika was very good, created 3 chances for Club Brugge. They should have won that game. They wasted chances. They drew it 1-1. Awaziem, coming off the back of his mistake in the international break, he had a good performance for Boavista in their game this past weekend. Torunariga also had a good game for K Ghent. He's been part of the team, not part of the team. Jamilu Collins had a fantastic performance, not just a good one, a fantastic performance for Cardiff City, also in their 2-1 victory over this past weekend. Maduka Okoye had a good game, 1-1 draw. Udinese played, I think, against Sassuolo, was it? And then Chiamaka Nadozie also had a very good performance for Paris FC. Loads of other players were in action. Loads of other players had decent, good games as well. We can't talk about everybody, but yeah, that's the wrap up. Smidlai, any final thoughts before we end this episode?
Just to just to appreciate the guys that actually did well. A fantastic, fantastic performance from, and those that did not even perform too. That had a good game, but things just not really, happen for them. Players like Victor Osimhen too. He did his
Oh,
best, but unfortunately, Atlanta firepower was even more than the current Napoli team.
yeah,
So, I just think that these guys are actually what they did well. They did well. Kudos to them. Kudos to them. Even Alex Iwobi and Kevin Bassey too,
yeah,
from 3-1 to 3-3. They did well
yeah.
too. So well done. Well done to them.
Mm. Well done to
And
everybody.
and let me just say a few
Okay.
things too. Yeah, and the Super Eagles want to be too. The two Weather Bremen players too that have already said it on that they want to team up with Nigerian national team, Felix Agu and the other guy too. Well done. You are part of us.
Mm.
Yes.
All right. And I would say the final well done to everybody that has listened and has watched this episode all the way to the end. We really appreciate you guys. If you don't watch, if you don't listen, we wouldn't be making this. We make this for you guys to enjoy and for you to stay in the know. There's so many Nigerian footballers around the world. Not everybody can keep up with them. So we're bringing you the information, we're bringing you the gist, and we're really, really, really grateful for everybody that tunes in and supports the podcast in one way or the other. Make sure you like, you share, you subscribe so that you do not miss the next episode. It's going to be another interesting one as we preview the Super Falcons Olympics qualifying match or matches against Banyana of South Africa. Until next time, my name is Ayoti. This is Naija FC Podcast, and my co-host is.
Smith Layi, keep watching. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. Bye bye, guys.